Welcome to the Sage Thought Leadership Podcast. Experience support for confident business makers.
Well, hi everyone, and welcome to our podcast. I'm Ed Kless, and with me today is Rick Yvanovich. Rick is a serial entrepreneur, techie, Brit, baby boomer, and professional bean counter with over 40 years of experience in a wide variety of businesses, including supermarkets, the accounting profession, breweries, newsagents, defense manufacturing, IT, and property development. He has worked at British Petroleum in the UK, Singapore, Switzerland, Vietnam, and China, where he first served as a finance manager. Rick then relocated to BP Vietnam in 1990. He is an active promoter of the AICPA-CIMA, and Rick is very regular speaker in Vietnam on multiple topics, including talent, accounting, digital transformation, cloud, project management, and UK-US Vietnam trade and investment. Welcome to the Sage Thought Leadership Podcast, Rick.
Thanks for having me, Ed. It's delightful to be here with you today.
Well, first off, Rick, why do you do what you do?
Why do I do what I do? That's a good question. I guess it's because I can, and most times it's because I want to, and hopefully more often than not, it's because it's in alignment with my life purpose. And my life purpose is I inspire and transform professionals for consistently higher achievement. So let's break that down a bit to put a bit of meaning behind it. So when I say inspire, I don't just want to flood people with information or give them information. I want to reach into their emotional and intellectual core to ignite a fire that really drives them to act. Think of it as the difference between giving someone a fish and teaching them how to fish. Inspiration is the fishing lesson. When I say transform, I'm not just going to inspire people. Transformation means I'm going to provide the tools, the strategies, the insights that fundamentally change them. It's about altering mindset, habits, and skills. So they're not just inspired for a day, but changed for a lifetime. Why professionals? My focus is on people who are typically already in their career path. They have a certain level of expertise, commitment, and they're looking for that extra edge, that next step in their evolution, another step up in that career ladder. I sort of did this deliberately to also narrow it down from humans and everyone in general. And the people I focus on tend to be hyper achievers. Why consistently higher achievement? End goal is not just a one-time success, but we want that sustainable, elevated level of achievement. I want to help professionals not just reach a new peak, but to establish a much higher base camp for all their future endeavors. And it really resonates with beating your own personal best and make it better you. So in essence, why do I do what I do? It's because of my life purpose, which is to be a catalyst for profound, sustainable change in the professional lives of individuals, empowering them to achieve more than they ever thought possible, and to do so consistently over time.
Well, let's explore that a second. Before we started recording, you used a phrase, architects of change. Why do you think we should look to be architects of change?
Architects of change. Thanks for that clarifying question. It's the concept of actively designing and shaping the course of our own lives, rather than simply reacting to something or passively accepting a change. So picture this in mind, an architect who goes beyond simply fulfilling the demand for buildings. They envision what could, considering not just immediate needs, but in the broader context of where is the building. They take into account the environmental, the societal, and the functional factors, designing structures that not only meet those conditions, but also elevate them. Now, an architect of change adopts a very similar mindset. So it involves each of us needs to envision the future that we desire. We need to craft a strategic plan to get there and make deliberate choices and take actions that move us forward. It requires the courage to step outside the realm of the ordinary and to challenge the status quo and to innovate and adapt. So we don't merely react to circumstances. We need to purposefully create them, whether that's in our personal life, our community, or on a larger scale. We wield the power to influence the trajectory trajectory of change. So, in summary, being this architect of change means we embrace a mindset that goes beyond reactive adaptation, envision that desired future, design a path to reach it, and take action. By doing so, we not only shape our own lives, but we also contribute to meaningful and lasting transformations also in our communities and beyond.
Is that the sense of why you use the phrase architect? Because an architect is building a building that is going to be looked at for perhaps a century or more by people who are outside it. It's not just the person who's building the building, but the community itself is going to see it as well.
Absolutely. It also is very much linked to the latest book that I wrote, which has an analogy in it. That I use the metaphor of a castle, and we're building our own castle. And we can imagine it in any shape or form that we want because it's our castle, but it's not there just for us. It's also there for the external community as well. So we have to design it with them in mind too.
And Rick, we have an exit question that we ask all of our guests, and that is, who is a hero of yours and why are they a hero?
A hero? Okay, my hero, I think it would be, it's a tough one. I'd say someone like a Simon Sinek, okay? I really like what he says and how he teaches and how he shares stuff. I find it very, very direct and very simple to understand. It just makes total sense to me. I've used several of the concepts in some of my books, such as his start with why concept and his infinite mindset concept, which I absolutely love.
Well, his start with why is the influence for me asking the why do you do what you do question at the beginning of this podcast. So there you have it. Lastly, Rick, how can somebody contact you?
Okay, to contact me, the best place to contact me is to look me up on LinkedIn. Okay. Just use my name. There is, surprisingly, only one person on the planet with my name, and that happens to be me. So you can find me on LinkedIn, and funnily enough, that is that name is used across all of the social media channels. And in addition to that, you can go to my website, which is also rickivanovich.com.
All right. Rick Yvanovich, thanks so much for being a guest on the Sage Thought Leadership Podcast.
Thank you very much. It was an absolute pleasure being here with you guys.
Review and subscribe by searching your podcast player of choice for Sage Thought Leadership Podcast.